The offer comes in at $72,000. You read it twice. It is more than you are making now. The relief arrives before the thinking does. And the relief is the trap. Because you are about to do something that will quietly follow you for the next 22 years. You are going to say yes to a number that is not the final number. You are going to treat an opening position as a settled fact. And then, in the same week, you are going to keep doing a version of that mistake in every corner of your financial life. You are 28. The damage begins now. It will not announce itself. It will compound. The negotiation you don't have. The range for your role in your city runs $74,000 to $91,000. This information exists on 3 websites you have not checked. The recruiter knows the range. The hiring manager knows the range. The $72,000 was offered with the expectation that you would push back. You don't push back. You send the acceptance at 11:47 p.m. Thank you for this opportunity. You mean it. You press send. $72,000 is now the foundation. Every raise, every percentage, every future offer anchored to this employer's record of you. It all compounds from $72,000 upward. Not from $84,000, not from the number that was available if you had asked. A counter of $84,000 had a reasonable probability of being accepted. You will never know. The first rule, salary is not a number, it is a base. Every percentage raise applies to the base. A 4% raise on $72,000 is $2,880. A 4% raise on $84,000 is $3,360. Same raise, different math. The difference runs for 20 years. Age 28. The second mistake begins the same week. The employer offers a superannuation contribution of 11%. It goes in automatically. You don't add to it. The plan is to sort that out once things settle. There is a salary packaging option, $15,900 of pre-tax income redirected toward living expenses, real take-home increase of $1,800 per year. The form requires 30 minutes. The 30 minutes don't appear. There is a $2,400 training budget available from day one. You bookmark a data certification that would make you significantly more valuable as a contractor if you ever left. You do not register. The plan is to do that once the new role feels more stable. The plan is always once. This is the sentence that costs most people a decade. I'll start building once I leave the job. It sounds like strategy. It is paralysis with better branding. Now watch what happens to the person 2 desks over who decided not to wait. Same job, same salary, different Tuesday, same week, same offer letter. $72,000, same recruiter. Except this person read 3 salary comparison sites the night before, came in with a counter of $82,000, settled at $79,000, took 6 minutes. Same week, they set up the salary packaging, 38 minutes, $1,800 extra per year, redirected automatically into an index fund. Same week, voluntary super contributions, $200 per month. After the tax offset, real cost is $128, filed under fixed expenses, forgotten about in the useful way. Same week, the training budget registered for the data analytics certification, employer's money, 4 months of Tuesday evenings. By the time you have finished settling into the new role, the person at the other desk has built a financial structure you don't have. Same job, same floor. The gap is $128 a month and a Tuesday afternoon. It will not stay that small. Age 30 to 33. The gap begins moving. You receive a 4% raise at year 2, $2,880. You feel recognized. The raise is absorbed by life within 6 weeks. They receive the same 4% raise on $79,000, $3,160. The gap between your salaries widens without either of you doing anything different. The superannuation balances are also diverging. Their voluntary contributions plus compound growth are pulling ahead of your employer-only balance at an increasing rate. The investment account they opened with the salary packaging surplus is producing returns you don't have a comparable account to receive. At 32, they have their first consulting client, a former colleague. 6 hours, $450. It is not a business. It is a test. The test passes. You do not have a consulting client. The plan is to build that once you leave. The exit date is 37. It has been 37 for 14 months. Before that, it was 35. The gap at 33, you, super $41,000, external investments $8,200, independent income $0, them, super $61,000, external investments $36,000, independent income $900 per month. The second rule, the job is not the obstacle between you and building wealth. The job is the safest place on earth to build it because someone else is covering your costs while you do. Every month you wait is a month of subsidized building you gave back. Age 35, the promotion problem. You are promoted. Associate director, salary moves to $91,000. The title feels significant. The number feels like a rival. Here is what is also true. Market rate for this role in your city is $103,000 to $118,000. The $91,000 reflects a 12% adjustment on your existing base. The existing base was underpriced in 2016 and has been compounding from that underpriced point ever since. The promotion did not correct the original error. It applied a percentage to it. You accept without a counter. You say thank you. The pattern is 8 years old. It does not feel like a pattern. It feels like who you are. At the other desk, same promotion. They negotiate the adjustment. Land at $97,000. Same title, $6,000 per year, better. It will compound forward from here in the same way the original gap compounded forward from 28. Consulting income, $2,800 per month. The test at 32 became a client. The client became 3. They negotiated 1 day per week to work from home, not for lifestyle reasons. To use 4 hours of that day for consulting calls without depleting evening energy. The employer agreed. The boundary was asked for clearly and it was granted. The gap at 35. You, super $87,000, external investments $22,000, independent income $0. Them, super $121,000, external investments $79,000, independent income $2,800 per month. Monthly income gap $2,800. Compounded forward 15 years at conservative returns. That income stream alone represents $890,000 in total earnings and investment growth you are not generating. Age 40. The question changes. You earn $98,000. The exit plan is now real, genuinely, specifically real. Date, 43. Business plan, documented, financially modeled, shared with 2 people who responded positively. The ambition has not dimmed. The timeline has moved 4 times, but the direction is clear. External investments, $41,000. Super, $141,000. Independent income, $0. The exit will require building a client base from nothing at 43 with whatever savings remain after life costs between now and then. The plan requires the future to cooperate. It usually does not cooperate exactly. They earn $98,000 from the employer. Consulting income, $3,800 per month. Investment returns, $9,200 per year. They have approached the employer about moving to 4 days per week. The employer, not wanting to lose the institutional knowledge, the client relationships, the reliability, agrees. Salary reduces to $78,400. The free day generates $1,600 in additional consulting income. Net income barely moves. They gain 52 Fridays per year. They are not leaving. They are restructuring. The job became the vehicle for the exit rather than the obstacle to it. The gap at 40, you, super $141,000, external investments $41,000, independent income dollars. Them, super $197,000, external investments $148,000, independent income $3,800 month. The third rule, freedom is not something you build after you leave. It is something you build before you need it. By the time you need it, it needs to already exist. Age 45. The structural separation. You have 1 consulting client. $800 per month. The business is beginning. The beginning is real. It is also 12 years later than the other person's beginning, which means it is starting from a standing start while theirs has been compounding for over a decade. Super, $193,000. External investments, $67,000. Independent income, $800 a month. They work 3 days per week. The original employment contract ended at 43 by mutual agreement. They remain the preferred external contractor on 2 ongoing projects at $580 per day. Consulting clients, 6, 5 on retainer. Monthly consulting revenue, $5,400. Annual investment income, $15,800. Total annual income, $194,200. Of this, $130,000 has no dependency on any single employer's decision. They do not need permission to keep earning it. No one can restructure it away. No performance review determines its survival. They are 45. They did not quit. They outgrew the requirement to stay. Age 50. The final accounting. You, left at 47. The business is real. Month 18 revenue, $6,100 per month, growing. You are not failing. You are building exactly what the plan described. The plan just started at 47, and the compounding that was available from 28 was not used. The runway is shorter than it should be. The foundation you are building on is smaller than it needed to be. Super, $228,000. Investments, $83,000. Business revenue, $6,100, not yet stable. Them, 50 years old. Super, $391,000. Investment portfolio, $312,000, annual returns of $21,800. Consulting revenue, $6,200 per month. Contractor days, 2 per week at $580 per day, $60,320 per year. Total annual income, $156,920, and falling by choice as the contractor days reduce. Net worth gap between you and the person who sat 2 desks over, $388,000. The original salary gap in 2016, $7,000 per year. The compounded cost of every under-negotiated transition, every unused training budget, every salary packaging form left open in a browser tab, every month the consulting practice was going to start once you left, $388,000. Not one catastrophic decision. A pattern. Small deferrals. Reasonable in isolation. Compounding in the same direction. Every year, from the Tuesday evening you sent the acceptance email before the thinking caught up with the relief, right now there is someone with a training budget they haven't touched. A salary packaging portal open in a tab they haven't submitted. A skill they use every day at work that someone outside would pay for. An offer letter sitting in their inbox that is not the final number. They are waiting for the right moment to negotiate, to set up the packaging, to register for the certification, to send the first email to the first potential client. The right moment to start building? Once they leave, once the timing is right. Once the version of their life that requires slightly less managing arrives and makes room for the version that actually matters. The building does not begin after the exit. The exit is what happens after the building. That's the sequence. That's what the $388,000 was always about. The portal is still open. The tab hasn't closed. 38 minutes.